Hey everybody, Chris Serino here with Sultana Education Foundation's virtual classroom. Today we're going to take you aboard the gorgeous reproduction here of the 1768 schooner Sultana and take you on a tour of the crew's living quarters. So here we are on decks of the Sultana. I want you to go back in time and pretend you're part of this crew in 1768. The boat on deck is really only about 52 feet long, and yet during Sultana's 4-year tour of duty in the Royal Navy, 25 grown men lived aboard this ship. Let's go see where they would have been. All right, so to get to the living quarters, we have to go down a ladder into the hold of the ship down below. So here we go. Always back down the ladder. All right, so we're down here in the hold of the schooner Sultana. Remember, 25 men had to live down here, but their living quarters were a lot different depending on your rank. So I'm back here in the lieutenant's cabin. It would have been a gentleman named John Inglis. This would have been his first command. He had relatively luxurious living quarters. There's windows up here to provide fresh air. There's a nice large bed right here. There's plenty of space to spread out. Back here, this little room's called the magazine. That's not for like Time or Sports Illustrated. That's where they were to put gunpowder and pistols and lead shot. And then over here, there was a little room known as the bread room, where they would have kept their fresh bread. So this is where Lieutenant John Inglis would have spent his evenings when he was commanding this ship between 1768 and 1772. Let's go ahead and move towards the bow to see where the rest of the crew lived. Now I'm going towards the bow, and right about here there were 2 other cabins for officers. So this was the surgeon's cabin. I'm going to open this door here. You can take a look in. Really just room for one individual and a few belongings. A bed that's maybe 6 feet long, and then across from the surgeon's cabin we had the master's cabin, and the master was really like the first mate that helped run the ship and helped some with navigation. So thus far I've covered about a third of the boat, and only 3 people live there so far. We have the lieutenant all the way back towards the stern. We have the surgeon's cabin to port and the master's cabin back there to starboard. And really from this break in the floor forward, this is where the other 22 sailors had to live. And really this is deceptive because there would have been a floor here, and everything kind of below my chest would have been storage, barrels and extra lines and extra sails and canvas for making repairs, food. So from here up and from there forward is where 22 sailors had to live. Whew. So at the end of that 4-hour shift, I would get to rest a little bit. I'm gonna come out of my bunkmate will come down, and we would switch places. I'll just say this is a lot easier for 20-somethings than for 50-somethings. So not only did 22 crew members live down here, they also had to cook all their food and eat down here. So to do that, they had this brick stove. You can see it's kind of a hybrid of brick and steel, and you can imagine having firewood down here, having a fire burning down here in the summer months. Think about the fire hazards of burning a wood stove on a wooden ship, and you kind of see the picture that not only were these boats crowded, it was kind of dangerous. So a lot of their foods would be cooked over here in stews because they wanted to rehydrate everything. And then Sultana, we modified up here a little bit. There would be another cabin here and down here, another cabin up here and down there, and we've changed that to make a modern kitchen so that when we travel in the summer, we can cook normal modern foods. So to wrap up, Sultana's about 52 feet long, but we were home to 25 Royal Navy sailors, all of whom lived down here in the hold of this ship. It was tight, it was cramped, the work was hard. Man, it would have been a tough life. But for some sailors, it represented opportunities in terms of getting a paycheck, in terms of getting fed. You got to travel around and see the world. You also got to be part of the Royal Navy, the most powerful Navy in the world at that time. That's all for today's adventure on Sultana Education Foundation's virtual classroom. We hope you'll come join us on the schooner Sultana, but until then, we hope to see you on this website for more cool videos.